In the warm light of an early morning, the small town of Maple Creek awoke slowly. Tucked between rolling fields and gentle streams, the town was built on hard work, honest sweat, and the traditions of generations of farmers. The streets were lined with wooden storefronts, and neighbors greeted each other with friendly nods. However, behind the rustic charm, an undercurrent of injustice stirred. At the center of this discontent was Mr. Granger, a wealthy and cunning landlord. Known for his sharp tongue and shrewd business practices, Mr. Granger owned vast tracts of land that the local farmers leased. His deals were lopsided, leaving the hard-working tenants with little reward for their labor. His reputation for exploiting the poor farmers was whispered about in the town square, yet his wealth and influence kept him beyond reproach. On a crisp autumn morning, Benan, aging, hard-working farmer with calloused hands and a gentle, determined smile, prepared for another day in the fields. His modest farmhouse, nestled on the edge of Maple Creek, stood as a testament to his lifelong dedication. Despite the challenges he faced under the oppressive lease deals, Ben continued to work the land with quiet dignity. That day, Ben met with Mr. Granger near the boundary of his leased fields. With a firm yet respectful tone, Mr. Granger reiterated the terms of the lease. "You know the deal, Ben," he said coolly. "You give me the best parts of your crop. I expect nothing less than perfection." Ben nodded hesitantly, knowing that every season seemed to leave him with less and less to show for his toil. Later that afternoon, as Ben inspected his harvest of corn and beans, he realized that despite his hard work, most of his produce was claimed by Mr. Granger's unfair contract. "I gave my all this season," Ben murmured to himself, his voice heavy with disappointment. Yet every harvest feels like a step backwards. His heart sank as he watched his fields, which should have been a source of pride, become symbols of exploitation. A few weeks later, Kyle returned to Maple Creek after completing his studies in the city. With a fresh education and a mind brimming with modern ideas, Kyle quickly noticed the inequities that had long plagued the town. During dinner, one cool evening, he sat with his father at their worn wooden table. The flickering light of a single lamp illuminated their earnest faces. "Dad," Kyle began, his voice gentle yet firm, "I see how hard you work every day, and I can't help but feel that something is very wrong with these deals." Ben sighed, pushing his fork aside. "Kyle, I have known hardship all my life, and these deals are the only way to keep a roof over our heads. But it does hurt. Son, your neighbors suffer too." Kyle leaned forward, eyes bright with determination. "I think it's time we challenge this. We're clever enough to outsmart Mr. Granger without resorting to anger or violence. We can be fair and inventive instead. I've been thinking about ways to change our agreements. Maybe we can turn the tables using our own strengths." Ben looked at his son, a mixture of hope and uncertainty crossing his weathered face. "I'm listening, son. What do you have in mind?" The following spring, as the chill of winter melted into the promise of renewal, Kyle unveiled his first ingenious plan. He met with Mr. Granger in the farmer's field at dawn. With calm confidence, Kyle proposed a new arrangement. "Mr. Granger, I'm willing to let you have all that grows above the soil. But this season, I'll be planting root crops, carrots and potatoes that grow primarily below the earth. What you see will be nothing more than leaves and stalks. The real value, the nourishing part of the crop, will remain with me." Mr. Granger, intrigued by the novelty of the proposal, agreed with a slight smirk. "Very well, young man. We shall see if your plan bears fruit." As the season unfolded, Ben and Kyle worked the fields diligently. Carrots sprouted with bright orange tops, and potatoes formed deep below the surface. True to the agreement, Mr. Granger inspected only the visible portions of the crops and collected the top parts, leaving behind the wholesome roots. At harvest time, Kyle's strategy paid off. Ben's fields yielded a bountiful collection of nutritious roots, and the community began to taste a difference in quality. Word spread quickly that Kyle had found a clever way to preserve the value of the harvest. Mr. Granger was left with little to show, for the substance of the crop was safely in the hands of the farmers. Kyle, smiling confidently. "Dad, see? We trusted our instincts and worked with nature's design. The true treasure was hidden beneath the surface all along." Ben, with a mix of relief and wonder. "I never would have thought, Kyle. This is a start sign that we can beat exploitation by thinking smartly." Buoyed by their success in the first season, Kyle devised a new strategy for the next planting season. In a follow-up meeting with Mr. Granger on a breezy summer morning, Kyle proposed another innovative twist. "This season, I'm willing to give you everything that grows below the soil. In exchange, I'll plant wheat and corn, where the main value lies in the stalk and the grain which grows above. Essentially, you will have the roots and tubers, and I will keep the flourishing tops." Mr. Granger, eager to seize any opportunity to profit, readily agreed. "Very well, young man. Let's see if this new idea is as promising as your last." The season unfolded with the rhythmic hum of tractors and the rhythmic planting of seeds. Ben and Kyle labored in the golden fields, nurturing wheat that swayed in the summer breeze and corn that stood tall against the blue sky. When harvest came, the division was clear. Mr. Granger collected the lower, sturdier parts of the plants, roots and stalk bases, while the kernels, the essence of the crop, remained with Kyle and the other farmers. The town's granaries soon filled with the rich harvest that was cultivated through ingenuity rather than exploitation. Kyle, enthusiastically to a group of curious farmers, "We are learning that nature gives us clues. By switching what we offer, we keep the valuable parts for ourselves. It's all about understanding the hidden worth in what we grow." Farmer Mary, a seasoned neighbor: "I've never seen it done this way before, but it sure has worked wonders. You're teaching us to see our crops and our rights in a new light." By the third season, Kyle's reputation for clever innovation had begun to spread throughout Maple Creek. In his final test of strategy, he arranged another meeting with Mr. Granger under the ancient oak in the town's center. "Mr. Granger," Kyle began respectfully, "I propose an arrangement where I'll give you both the parts that grow above and below the soil. However, I will be planting sugarcane. The trick here is that while you get the top and the bottom, I shall keep the middle, the part that is the sweetest and most valuable." Mr. Granger raised his eyebrow, his mind calculating the potential profits. "An interesting proposal, young man. I accept." The season was marked by long, hot days as the sugarcane grew tall and lush in the fields. Ben, alongside his son, nurtured the crop with care and ingenuity. They knew that by keeping the central juicy core for themselves, they could not only retain a high-quality product, but also use it to sweeten their own fortunes. When harvest arrived, Mr. Granger collected the visible tops and the sturdy bases of the sugarcane. Meanwhile, the middle sections, bursting with natural sweetness and flavor, remained under the control of the local farmers. The clever twist allowed the community to produce a refined producta, locally made sugar that could be traded fairly, or even transformed into other goods such as syrups and confections. Kyle, proudly, as he inspects the sugarcane with his father: "Dad, this is our finest work yet. We've managed to secure what's truly valuable, ensuring that every kernel of sweetness goes to the people who worked for it." Ben, with a heartfelt nod: "I'm proud of you, son. You've taught us that even in the face of greed, wisdom and hard work can reclaim what is rightfully ours." Over the course of these successive seasons, the people of Maple Creek began to see the power of strategic, intelligent resistance. As the harvests grew richer and the community's prosperity became evident, even Mr. Granger could no longer ignore the rising tide of success among the farmers. One crisp fall evening, at a town meeting held in the old community hall, murmurs of admiration and whispers of change filled the air. A respected elder addressed the assembly: "Our fields now produce not only a bounty of crops but a lesson in fairness and innovation. We owe our success to the courage and ingenuity of young Kyle, who dared to challenge an age-old injustice without bitterness." The townspeople nodded in agreement, and a ripple of change began to spread. Even Mr. Granger, seated quietly among the attendees, could not help but feel the weight of the shifting tide. After the meeting, Mr. Granger approached Kyle outside the hall, his voice softer than usual. "Kyle, I see now that there is merit in what you've done. You have taught me that fairness and intelligence must guide our dealings. Perhaps it is time I reconsider the terms I have long enforced." Kyle met his gaze steadily and replied, "Mr. Granger, it is never too late to do the right thing. Fairness benefits us all, and our community deserves nothing less." With the turning of the seasons, Mr. Granger took decisive steps to change his ways. The exploitative lease agreements were revised, ensuring that every farmer received a fair share of the harvest. The newfound prosperity spread throughout Maple Creek, revitalizing local businesses and renewing the community's spirit. Ben's fields flourished, and the quality of the produce, be it the nutritious roots, golden grains, or the luscious sugar, became renowned beyond the small town. Neighbors, who had once suffered in silence, now worked together, sharing innovations and supporting one another. The town's markets buzzed with honest trade, and the atmosphere was one of mutual respect and shared success. One bright morning, as the town celebrated a particularly abundant harvest, Kyle stood before a gathered crowd in the town square. With his father and many of his fellow farmers at his side, he spoke, "Our story is one of creativity, perseverance, and the courage to stand up against exploitation. We have shown that by working intelligently and fairly, we can overcome even the most cunning of adversaries. Let our harvest be a reminder that innovation and hard work will always prevail over greed." The crowd erupted in applause, and even Mr. Granger, now humbled and transformed, nodded in acknowledgement. The day was filled with laughter, music, and the warm embrace of community, a testament to what can be achieved when fairness and smart thinking guide our actions. Neighbor Joe, smiling broadly, "Kyle, you've made a hero out of our struggles. We've learned that true power lies in ingenuity and unity." Mr. Granger, quietly to Kyle, "Thank you for showing me the error of my ways. I now understand that fairness can create a legacy more lasting than any short-term gain." As the years passed, Maple Creek became a shining example of how creativity, intelligence, and a steadfast commitment to fairness can overcome exploitation. The legacy of Kyle's strategies was woven into the fabric of the town, and every farmer, from the oldest to the newest, took pride in the fact that they had reclaimed their dignity through peaceful resistance and innovation. In quiet moments on a warm summer evening, Ben would sit on his porch, gazing at the flourishing fields and recalling the hardships of the past. His heart swelled with gratitude for his son's vision and the community's courage to stand together. "We've learned a valuable lesson," he would whisper. "Exploitation may take root, but with clever thinking, hard work, and a commitment to fairness, even the most oppressive system can be uprooted." Kyle's journey from a determined young man returning from college to a local hero was celebrated in every retelling of the town's history. His approach, combining respect, innovative ideas, and the unwavering pursuit of justice, became a beacon of hope for all who believed that change was possible. And so, the moral of Maple Creek's story was clear. Intelligence, fairness, and hard work are the true harvests of life. When we stand up against exploitation with creative and peaceful means, we sow the seeds of a future where justice and prosperity grow for everyone. In the gentle cadence of rural America, the tale of Mr. Granger, Ben, and Kyle reminds us that change is possible even in the face of entrenched exploitation. Through creative strategies, whether by preserving what lies hidden beneath the surface or by retaining the essence of what grows, Kyle demonstrated that intelligence and ingenuity are powerful tools in the pursuit of justice. The evolution of Maple Creek, from a town shadowed by greed to one basking in the light of fair treatment and communal prosperity, serves as an enduring lesson for all communities. In the end, the story is not just about outsmarting an adversary, but about reclaiming dignity, fostering unity, and proving that innovation and fair play will always triumph over exploitation. The fields of Maple Creek tell a story of renewal and hope, a story that will inspire future generations to stand up, think creatively, and work together for a better tomorrow.